Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us again on Bible Topics Discussion. We have another story today from our daughter, Anita. Hope you enjoy it.
Thanks, Deb. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the story from 1 Samuel chapter 3. And if I've done my math right, this video is either the last one for 2022 or the first one for 2023. So we're kind of getting ready to go into a new year, and this story seemed appropriate. A few years ago, I had my niece, Mom and Dad's youngest granddaughter at the time, Madeline, over at the house, and I had gathered the kids around for breakfast, my own children and her, because she was spending the day with us. And I read the story of 1 Samuel chapter 3 just as our family devotional for the morning, and in an effort to include Madeline, I had her play a little part. And so the story of 1 Samuel chapter 3 is the story of Samuel hearing the voice of God for the first time. Samuel's mother, Hannah, gave him to Eli, who was the priest at the temple, at a very young age to serve the Lord. I guess it was really more that Hannah gave Samuel back to the Lord more than she gave him to Eli. And so Eli had really brought Samuel up in the temple, learning how to be a priest and how to serve the Lord. And so Samuel had laid down to go to sleep that night, and he heard a voice say, "Samuel, Samuel." And that was Madeline's part when I would read the story. She was supposed to go, "Samuel," and of course she was 2, and it was precious, and she did her little Samuel, and we all just melted at how cute she was. But the Lord called, and Samuel thought it was Eli. And he ran in, "Yes, Eli, what do you need?" And Eli said, "That wasn't me. Go back to sleep." And so he went back and laid down, and the Lord called him again. Samuel ran back into Eli. "You called me." And Eli said, "That wasn't me. Go lay back down." And it happened a third time. And the third time, Eli's kind of picking up that something's going on, and he says, "Samuel, go back, and when you hear the voice again, say, 'Speak, Lord, your servant is listening.'" And so when God called Samuel a fourth time, he replied, "Speak, Lord, your servant is listening." And the Lord spoke to Samuel. And as I was kind of thinking about that today, I thought about, Samuel had been spending all of this time at the temple, but he still wasn't really recognizing God's voice. The voice sounded familiar to him because he thought it was Eli. So it didn't sound like a stranger, but he really didn't fully recognize it as being the Lord. And we can look through Scripture, and the Lord spoke to people in lots of different ways. In Genesis, he walked with Adam and Eve in the garden. He spoke to Moses in a burning bush. He spoke to Jacob and Joseph in dreams. He spoke to Balaam through his donkey. He speaks through angels all throughout the Old and New Testament. So God can speak in lots of different ways. But John chapter 10 tells us that he is our shepherd, and the sheep learn to recognize his voice. And I think I can speak for Mom and Dad when I say that as we're going into this new year, I hope that you can learn to recognize the voice of the shepherd.
Yes.
And the best way for you to do that is to talk to him in prayer and to spend time in his word. Those are two of the best ways that I've found to recognize when I think I'm hearing something from the Lord, but maybe I'm not sure. It can be confirmed in prayer and in his word. God's never going to tell you to do anything that violates his word.
Right.
And so I want to encourage you as we're getting ready to go into a new year to spend that time in the word and in prayer so that you too can recognize the voice of God when he calls your name.
Thank you, Anita.
You're welcome.
Very good. We hope all of you enjoyed this, and we'll come back next week. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Be blessed.